we will explore 2 key points about this place. First, the purpose of this building. We visited Bronwyn Cowston from the Whitlam Institute, who will tell us more. And second, historian and associate professor Carol Liston will tell us about her 20 years of research on the lives of those girls. But there is no evidence of what really happened here. The real stories will always remain a mystery. We will also hear about the limitations of memory.
As the female orphan school, Governor Lachlan Macquarie was very clear that this school was designed to provide a place of education for girls, a place where the convict connections that a lot of them had would be removed through education, Christian knowledge and general improvement. The whole purpose of the establishment of this school was to provide young girls with the skills needed to become good domestic servants and proper colonial wives. So girls who came here received a far better education than they would have in most other situations. Here they learnt to read and write, they learnt basic maths, they learnt sewing and a range of other domestic chores to fit them out to make a living once they left here. And we certainly know later in the period that those girls who excelled in schoolwork were given opportunities to go and learn to be teachers and return to the school as teaching staff. Punishments are typical for the time. They seem fairly draconian now, but punishments have been reduced to bread and water for a period of up to 10 days, being caned. From what we know, the girls who were requested out from servants here had lives similar to any other servants for the period, or convict women who were indentured labour, that their life as a servant really does depend on the situation they find themselves in, their master or mistress. So we've got letters requesting girls to become household servants with families. We've got a watchmaker requesting a young girl to come and assist as a general housekeeper for his wife and infant daughter. Got shoemakers requesting girls, we've got farmers requesting girls.
One of the young women that we've started to be particularly interested in is a girl who in our records appears as Mary Bruce, and she is admitted as a baby to the orphan school in Sydney. But our interest in Mary Bruce is that her mother was a Maori princess and her father was an Englishman who had travelled to New Zealand and made friends with the Maori, and George Bruce had brought his Maori princess wife to New South Wales, and unfortunately she died shortly after giving birth to the baby. So people with a Maori background in New Zealand are really interested to know what happened to Mary Bruce, because she is one of the first of their people who came to Australia and lived here, and probably her descendants do not know that their ancestress was actually literally a Maori princess. Not all the stories of the children at the orphan school are necessarily about failure. By the middle of the century, we have a young woman who's living there by the name of Isabella Balmain, and her family were related to the Balmain family at the suburb. For Isabella Balmain and her brothers, life was very unfortunate because their father wasn't a very responsible man, and when there were gold discovered in California, he abandoned his wife and children. The mother, left with trying to bring up the children, tried to commit suicide, so the children couldn't stay with her and they were put into the orphan school. And the local clergyman funded for Isabella to sail to England to go to the best teacher training college in England, and then to return to Australia to teach at the orphan school. It's difficult for a historian. Memory isn't a relevant piece of information because we're dealing with the past and people are dead. What we have to do is try and find the stories from the documents and from the buildings. And too often people get carried away with their imagination because they'd like to have memories of such a place. But everyone who was involved as a child at that place died so long ago that we have no stories left 4 generations later that will tell us what life was like, that people remembered and spoke about.